New instant by author. Need I say more? Hi guys. Okay, so I have no idea when you're seeing this. Probably the week of Christmas, probably. But everything's all off kilter. So anywho, this is a reading vlog. I'm gonna be going through these 4 books here. I'm really excited. I've been highly recommended all 4 of these books, and this one is actually in the Goodreads Choice Awards for 2022. These 3 are actually Christian, and I found them on various blogs and recommendations from friends and family, and then this one was obviously recommended when I looked through that. I recently went to hang out with my godmom and company, and we went book shopping, as you do in a family of readers, and this is the book I picked up. So I have, yeah, I can hold things. I have Dating Dr. Patel, which again, like I've said, is in the Goodreads Choice Awards, and I've heard just amazing things about this, so I can't wait. And I was able to read the first, I don't know, 5 pages of it or so, and I was already hooked. I cannot wait this, and I thoroughly love that we are finally getting authors that are not, you know, the typical. And I can't wait to dig into this. I've heard really good things about it. That first few pages of this, I'm enthralled. And then we have Collateral Damage, which is actually an author and a series I've been recommended in a ton of places, for like Christian series that are actually good. Title for the series is rubbed off. Anywho, but this is Collateral Damage. It's book 1 in a series, so we're gonna see how we feel about it, what we think about it. I don't know if I like it. I'll keep reading the series, but this one is obviously for my Christian challenge as a part of that. Then I have The Lost and the Fallen Necklace, and I've also heard really good things about this. This is like, it seems like it's going to be very rom-com-y. I don't know if it's explicitly like faith-based or anything, but I do know it's like very much acceptable in that genre because I was recommended it like a ton on Instagram when I was like scrolling through different, like looking for recommendations for romance that were much more fade to black, which is not typically what I read at all. Like one of my first okay, for the record, last year is the first year I really started reading romance at all, and one of the first series that I ever started, I'm not completely done with yet, in romance, what's that series called? One of the first series I read in romance in general, when I started reading romance seriously last year, was Wicked Villains. And if you know anything about that series, you know, the spice that I walked into initially is a lot, and I'm starting to like some fade to black romances because sometimes you just don't need the smut, you know, but sometimes it needs to be there. And I've been told by people both from like Christian standpoints and outside of that, that this is a really good author and a really good book. So we'll see. I don't know. I hope it's good. I hope it's cute. And then this one I just randomly picked up at the library as I was scrolling through the library, as I was walking through the stacks. And this is Girl Gone to the Outback, and it looks like it's gonna be like an Australian cowboy vibes rom-com, and this is published by a Christian press, and in fact I actually have the audiobook from Christian Audio, which I have a subscription to, and it's not sponsored. I've had it for years, and I need to do a video about all of the audiobook and book subscriptions I have and the pros and the cons of all of them, because I literally have almost everyone on the market. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm gonna get into all of these, and yes, I know this one doesn't like fit in the purview of the challenge that I'm currently in, but I've heard so many good things about this, and I've been wanting to read this author for freaking ever, and I saw it at half price and I picked it up, and I couldn't not get it, and quite frankly I just want to tear into this. So here's the method for this. Since this I'm certain is going to be more explicit, based on how popular it is online, I'm almost positive that this is going to be way more explicit than either of these. I have this as sort of like a reference point for the kind of romance novels I typically read. I can use this as like a reference point in my mind as I'm reading these two, without this one being like straight smut, because I don't think that this one's as spicy as the Wicked Villains series, because if you don't know, that's like a full-on BDSM smut series. So I think this one's probably gonna be a little less explicit. Okay, so I'm to the 3rd chapter of Girl's Guide to the Outback, not Girl Gone to the Outback. I was close. The dyslexia makes words like this kind of hard sometimes. And it's actually good. I like the premise so far. It seems like it's going to be kind of workplace-y, sort of enemies to lovers vibes. So he's a pastor at a youth organization that works with at-risk youth, and she's the business manager person that does all the money stuff. And basically the first 2 chapters are her wanting to open this new center on the other side of the country, because they're based on the East Coast and she wants to move something to the West Coast. And he's terrified it's too risky, but also he gets a call from his sister who's in Australia, that they're gonna lose the family farm. Okay, who structured this book? What? All right, so the structuring is confusing, to put it mildly. So in one chapter, we start in Australia. His sister breaks her leg with a cow on the farm. We don't have the circumstances. So we're in the situation and we're like waiting for her to get out of it, right? It's pretty bad. She can't walk, she can't get to her vehicle, nobody's answering their phone. She eventually gets somebody on their phone. And then we immediately jump to DC. We were literally in the country in Australia on a farm, and then we jump to DC in the same chapter. Okay, all of this happens in the same chapter. All right, okay, so then stuff isn't going well with the ministry that she's now trying to run and hire a pastor for, and like a ton of weird circumstances keep happening, and she hasn't been able to find somebody that works well in this. The board wants her to get him to come back. Okay, so that happens. Again, in the same chapter, we then shift POVs again, and he's getting ready to go to something where he coaches kids for something, and they're doing a dinner event thing, and his sister is trying to convince him to hire her. I would say though, so far the religious aspect of this, which tends to be downfall of a lot of these books, where the author like tries to shoehorn in a message and like doesn't let people be people. Not happening here. Everybody in this book so far is flawed and like very people, and I like that, because so far there's no like shoved message within Christianity or shoved lesson down. It's just these people are, and that's what they're doing, and there's a ministry involved. And obviously the whole premise of the book is that like the two of them together have to save the ministry and the farm. Like obviously that's the premise of the book, right? Like it's very rom-com-y. Like this is exceptionally rom-com-y. But another really good example of a book series and television series that actually does this like religious life thing very well is Discovery of Witches. And I know that sounds crazy, but the main vampire character guy is actually Catholic. And it is just so normalized, and that's the difference. In a lot of these books, it's not normalized. Like their faith isn't normalized. It's dogged. It's showy. It's not just a part of their everyday life. It's not just a part of what they do. It's not just a part of who they are. It's over the top. It's extreme. It's kind of a little ridiculous, actually. But I'm really happy to see that this book isn't that way. It's very subtle. It's very nice. I really like it. Like, I appreciate that. Like, this is the way faith actually appears in life. And again, like I said, Discovery of Witches, he's Catholic, and there are just scenes where he's like praying. Okay, so I'm officially DNFing. I made it to like chapter 12 and I'm just still bored to tears. The two of them together just don't, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. And when you can't see the couple together in a romance novel, it's really hard. It's really hard to keep reading it. Also, the stuff that's happening like behind the scenes isn't all that interesting. Like them saving this ministry isn't all that interesting. Saving the farm doesn't seem to be like that vitally important, even though it's been in his family for like nth generations. I don't like the weird pacing and the weird side plots. I don't tend to like that in novels like this. And again, I read like really high fantasy, very involved, like multiple magic systems going on. I don't have a problem following that. It's just kind of jarring. The fact that also a lot of times when those shifts were happening, like I was telling you, it'll tonally shift. So it goes from being like super duper serious, like his sister is stuck in a pen with a mother cow that has recently given birth and her calf, and like it is known that this cow is rather skittish, rather defensive of her calves. Like it is known, like they nicknamed her Psycho, like, and she's stuck in the pen, slipping in and out of consciousness with a broken leg. And we go from that, we then shift into one of our main characters waiting to meet her mom at a DC diner. It's such a weird tonal shift, and it's not like done in a way where it feels like a cliffhanger. It's done in a way where it's like, what? Like you're genuinely looking at, and it'll be on the same page too, so it's not like you turn the page and you like skip something. You're looking at it and you're feeling like you somehow skipped halfway into another chapter. It is weird and like immediate, and that kind of tonal shift happens all the time. I'm okay with a tonal shift here and there in a book, like that's totally fine. Basically every scene of tension is immediately recovered by a much lighter scene that is also supposed to be written in tension, but it's not. This author doesn't do like emotional tension very well. At least to what I'm used to reading. Again, sci-fi, horror, high fantasy. Like I read a lot of that stuff, right? Oh, and I'm so sorry, I ended up settling on 3 stars for A Girl's Guide to the Outback, just because I do like parts of it and I am totally willing to pick something else up by this author. It's just this particular book and this particular couple I didn't vibe for. There's a lot of other aspects about it that I would like a lot more, and I think maybe if it was written like just a little bit differently, I would be like so down for it. It's not even funny. But I'm totally gonna pick up more by this author. I really did like elements of it. I just didn't like the couple. So I actually got the audiobook, so because I'm gonna run to the library, I gotta get some stuff for some future videos and whatnot. So I'm gonna be listening to this while I'm picking things up and so on. Just got back from the library, and I'm to chapter 3 now, and wow, I see why everyone's raving about this. I'm here for it. Just got introduced to him and I'm here for it. Okay, so I made it to chapter 8 last night and I had my eyes stopped focusing. I couldn't read anymore, which is always a good sign. So it's now Friday. First time I've been able to sit down and read this since my glasses broke. It's been a 24 hours. Anywho, and I love their banter. Oh my god. The banter between Parim, I hope I'm saying that, and Karina, again, I hope I'm saying that right, is just, it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. And again, I am so happy that there are smart people acting like smart people. Thank you. And I also love that everyone around them, like everyone around them is like, the two of you are perfect for each other. And the two of them are the only ones that are like, no. It's so obvious that the two of them are perfect for each other. Thank you. I'm on page 107. If you know, you know. First of all, now that is how one writes implicit and explicit consent. Thank you. Also, okay, how do you romance girlies review these online? Because like I have to be very careful or I'm gonna get age gated. I'm on page 260, so for those that know, you know. And I have always been afraid of the shower thing because I am not graceful. And I could just see a whole lot of bad things happening from that. Just lots of crashing, lots of falling, lots of ow, lots of pain. And not in a good way. Oh, like it's just, like, I get that it's hot, I get it, but like also, like I have fallen in the shower more than once in my life. And then I have to explain to multiple people how I fell through a glass shower wall. And I just don't know if I could do it without laughing constantly. And then my family would never let me live that down because you better bet that that would become a story in my family. Never live that down. Ever. Okay, I finished it. 4.5 stars. Okay, I finished it. 4.5 stars. Having to deal with a lot of not the best people in my family recently with current events going on. I can relate. Obviously, I don't have that like cultural baggage, but I can relate. Boy howdy can I relate. And like this, God, this like sense of obligation to take care of family members that aren't the best for you. But it's well written. I can't wait to read more from this author. Instant by author immediately. What did I read? I finished it, but I don't remember anything. It's good enough I didn't put it down, but it's so generic that I don't remember anything from it at all. I didn't even think to update you guys because I was just so bored most of the time. I was trying to get through it as fast as possible for this video. All right, we've made it. Final book of the video. I'm kind of hesitant because I'm pretty sure this is not what I thought I got from the library, is not what this is. But I can't even make it through chapters of this book. There's just too much wrong with it. Lord have mercy. So on that note, hey, so yeah, that's this video, which I've cobbled together. I don't even know when I filmed all of this. My life has been that insane over the last 2 months. But sometime in December, apparently. Anywho, I hope you liked it. And there will be regularly scheduled content out from now on. This is a commitment I'm making. So, alright. See you guys in the next one.